Hi, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Italian Faves series. I decided to make ravioli with some leftover St. Louis style pork ribs. My wife Sarah suggested the brown butter, Chevre balls, and honey drizzle, and I completed the picture with the truffle, balsamic drizzle, and chopped sage. This dish not only tastes good, but it makes a great presentation. So let's start cooking. Okay, so here's the pasta that I made about an hour ago, and it's been resting in this damp cloth for about an hour actually. Now it's sticky because it's been wrapped in the damp cloth. So what we want to do is coat it with a little bit of flour. Now making the pasta was from lesson 55, which was my pasta master recipe, and there's also a master recipe on making ravioli. We're making ravioli tonight the same way you would make it in the master recipe, okay? And we want to put some flour out on our counter. Get our wet towel out of the way. Put some flour out on the counter, and we want to start rolling the pasta through the pasta machine. Starting with number one, you want to get the pasta to be thin enough so it can go through the rollers, which is about a quarter of an inch thick, and then just roll it through on number one setting. Okay, then change to the number two setting. Roll it through again. Change to the number three setting. Roll it through again. Now, at this point, the pasta is starting to get to an unwieldy length, so I usually cut it in half with a knife or a pastry knife. Then we're going to change to setting number 4 and roll it through again. We want to keep it dusted with flour on the counter here. If you start to get to the point where you don't have any flour on the counter, put some more flour on the counter. That's number 4. Now we're going to change it to setting number 5. Now, after setting number 5, pasta makers differ. Actually, they differ anyway, because this one goes up to number 9, for example, and my other pasta maker only goes up to number 7, which means that on the one that goes up to 9, all of the settings make it thinner than the one than on the pasta maker that goes up to 7. Now, so you're going to have to kind of judge depending on your pasta maker. If you think this is getting too thin to be able to make ravioli out of, you think it's going to split too easily when you start to fill it, well, then stop rolling it. I use that word STOP, which causes the camera to turn off. So if you think the pasta is going to get too thin, cease rolling it and stop at whatever number you think is the highest number you can go to. I am stopping at number 7, and you can see that I have pretty long sheets of pasta here. I may actually have more pasta than I have filling. All right, now there we go. Put out the sheets. Now, I happen to be at 7,000 feet in very low humidity, so this pasta may dry very quickly. I may have to moisten it again a little bit later. Now we're going to take the filling and we're going to start to place the filling on the pasta. How much? It depends upon the size of your pasta cutter, okay? Now I'm using a pasta cutter that's about this big. It's about 3 inches across. So we can put a mound of filling there that will fit easily inside of that cutter. Right, now we're going to just place these about 2 inches apart on the pasta. Now you can actually place them a little bit closer once you get experience, but to start, I would place them about 2 inches apart and make the mounds all about the same size. Try to keep them bunched together without any stray pieces. Now I have some pasta down the end here which you can't see on the camera, and I don't want to adjust the camera right now. So I'm going to put some more filling down there and use up that part of the pasta. Also put some down this end. Now I have just a tiny amount of filling left, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit to some of these mounds. Okay, now I'm going to brush both sheets of pasta. Now the one that I'm brushing is only partly on camera, but I'm brushing it lightly with water, okay? Now I don't want to soak it, so you want to dip your brush into the water just a little bit and brush. Now you have to do this fairly quickly. Now I'm brushing the piece of pasta that has the mounds of filling on it, and I'm going to brush around each one of these mounds. Now it's important to do this fairly quickly because the pasta dries out. It's important to do this fairly quickly because the pasta can dry. It's also, if you are in a low humidity situation like I am, it's even more important that you do it fairly quickly. And try not to mess up your mounds while you're doing it. I find that I can actually help to push the mounds together a little bit by using my brush. Okay. Oops. Although that one I didn't. Okay, now we want to take our other sheet of pasta and lift it carefully onto the first sheet. Now, the pasta is fairly pliable, so you can move it around to some extent. You can stretch it a little bit so you can get the mounds covered, but try not to fold your pasta over onto itself. Then what you want to do is press your fingers gently around each mound. Pressing the top part of the pasta, top piece of pasta onto the bottom piece of pasta. They should stick together easily if they're moist. If they are floured, they won't stick together. While you're doing this, you can also press your mounds together a little bit. Get your filling centered in the little hill that you're making in this pasta. Okay, now we want to take our pasta cutter and start cutting the pasta. So you just place it down over the mound. Try not to place it, if there's any stray filling that's not in the, if there's any stray filling that is not in the middle of the mound, try not to bring your cutter down on top of those stray pieces. All right, now we're going to cut these pieces, carefully lift them off, and put them onto the sheet pan, which we have here that has been dusted with cornmeal. You could also dust it with flour, but I'm using cornmeal. We're just going to cut each one of these and put them on the tray. Now if you get one where the top and the bottom are not completely closed, just use your fingers and squeeze it closed. All right, now we're going to make the little balls of Chevre, and I'm only making enough for 2 small plates tonight, so I'm going to make 6 little balls. And I only have a small amount of the Chevre here. This is herb Chevre. You can either buy herb Chevre or you can buy plain Chevre and add your own herbs to it, chopped or fresh thyme, chopped parsley, maybe garlic if you like. And what we're doing is we're making 6 of these little balls that are roughly half the size of a marble. There we go. Now, we want these to be at room temperature when we serve, but if you're not going to be serving right now, put them in the fridge until, about a half an hour before you're ready to plate up. Okay, now we're going to make the honey ready to drizzle, okay? So we have a couple of tablespoons of honey in the cup here, and it doesn't matter how much honey you start off with. You can use the amount that's in the description. You're going to add some warm water to it and stir it up to break up that thick honey, okay? And what we want to do is we want to get it thin enough that if we hold it in the spoon, it will drizzle off the end of the spoon, and that's what we have here. So what you want to do is just add a little bit of water at a time, because if you add too much, it'll just get too watery, okay? But this is good. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more honey to this, because I think I did add just maybe a little bit more water than I should have. I want it to be a little bit less liquidy. Okay, then we'll stir that up. Good. Now we'll let that drizzle off the end of the spoon. Good. Okay, so we're going to keep this warm until we are ready to plate up. Okay, now you want to heat your pasta water, bring it to a boil. Now I've already been heating it for a little while, so it's coming to a boil right now, but you should heat it around the time that, just after you make the honey, okay? Okay, now we're going to brown the butter, okay? And we're going to put it on medium heat. First turn on the right burner. Put it on medium heat, and we're going to let this butter melt, and then it's going to start to foam, and when the foam subsides, that's when it's going to start to brown. And you should have a bowl of ice standing by, because when the butter gets to the brown stage, it can move to the burn stage almost immediately. So once it gets to the brown stage, we're going to take this little pot and we're going to sit it into the ice to halt the cooking, which will keep it from burning. Okay, the butter is starting to boil. It's almost all melted and it's foaming, okay? Now, I'm doing only a half stick of butter for the camera here. It's actually easier to do this if you have more butter in the pot, but if you let it go to burn, you will have wasted more butter. So you might want to practice a little bit before you try it on a lot of butter. Okay, now the foam is starting to rise to the top of the pot. When it does that, what we're going to do is remove it from the heat, okay? So it doesn't overflow the pot, okay? And it's going to start to subside. At the same time, the bubbling is starting to go away, and you can, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the butter is starting to turn brown. Okay. I think you can probably see the brown now. Now what are we doing here? We're burning off the milk solids to leave the pure butter fat. This is what we call clarifying butter. But clarifying usually doesn't go to the brown stage. Okay, now that's brown. Bubbles are going away. And we're going to turn off the heat. Normally I'd take it away from the flame, okay, but for the camera, I'm just going to hold the ice here and put the butter pot right down into that ice. Shake it a little bit. You can see that the bubbles will start to go away, and you'll have the brown butter left there. Now, once you have let this cool just a little bit so that it's not cooking anymore and the bubbles go away, you just want to keep this warm until you're ready to plate. Okay, our water is boiling. Now we're going to cook the raviolis. Now these are made with homemade pasta, okay, so they're not going to take long. About 2 minutes. 1.5 to 2 minutes. Okay, it's been just about 2 minutes. We're going to take them out of the water and put them immediately onto the plates, okay? We're just doing 3 per person as a small plate. We're gonna make sure they're all flipped over to the presentation side, okay? Then we're gonna spoon on brown butter. I'm going to place the Chevre balls drizzle with the honey, not a lot, just a drizzle. Be a little on those Chevre balls. Then drizzle the truffle balsamic vinegar. Then garnish with the prosciutto. And garnish with the sage. And there we have it. The St. Louis style pork ribs ravioli with brown butter, Chevre balls, a honey drizzle, a truffle balsamic drizzle, and sage. You can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is @Chef's Apprentice Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.